January 8th, 9:46 a.m. District Court. Defendant lobby number 1.
Good morning, Mr. Wright. Good morning, Maggie. So, what do you think is going to happen today, sir? Yesterday's session didn't go so well. It ended on a giant mystery.
That is true. And we still haven't solved a single part of it yet. But we surely will, soon enough.
Are you okay, Nick?
Eh? Oh, well. Yeah, of course. Just your typical troll in Japanifornia.
I saw that. That little flash of doubt in your eyes.
No. That wasn't doubt, that was determination. I mean, have you ever played Undertale? That had a lot of determination. You should play that one day.
Why don't I believe you? Stay time, Maggie. You better get going to the defendant's seat. Roger. Don't let me down, Mr. Wright. I'm counting on you.
Hey, Pell! Hey, Gosho. Hey, Gosho. We're stressing Maggie out. She doesn't need that. We're not stressing her out. How didn't you know she was stressed? I was watching through the doorway. Oh. Gosho. Spying on people is wrong. Only I can do that. You look like you lost the case already. Show a bit of confidence, will you, pal? Here, maybe this will help. Ah, lovely.
Yeah? Have you taken up aromatherapy too?
Maya. Not in the middle of years, pal. Don't tell me that you don't remember this thing. I actually forgot about it for a little bit. Come to think of it, that doesn't look like one of those aromatherapy bottles. This is the small bottle that turned up in the Trevian's kitchen about a couple of days ago.
Ah, look at all these little bottles.
Oh, aromatherapy oils. It's got so many they're overflowing onto the floor.
Hey, wait a minute. There's one bottle that's different from all the others.
Oh, what do you know? And it doesn't have a label either.
And it doesn't smell.
Yeah, you know, you should be thankful that it's not one of those poisons that you inhale and then you die because of it. Good lord. I've had a situation like that in the past. We finally got the analysis results back from the lab.
So, what is it? Is it a poison?
I'm afraid not, pal. Yeah? It's medication. Oh, okay then. That can actually help too.
Medication?
Yep, for years. Topical use only, apparently. For years? You mean... Yep, his medication Glenelg was using for his ruptured eardrum. What was Glenelg's ear medicine doing in the kitchen? Good question. That can actually help me even more. The victim's ear medicine, found covered in unidentified fingerprints in the kitchen. Alright, well, apologies for that cut. You didn't miss much. We asked Gumshoe about the unidentified fingerprints, and, well, somebody screwed up in analyzing the bottle, and they only had time to analyze the contents of the bottle and not the fingerprints. So that's going to weaken its impact as a piece of evidence for sure. Okay, Paul, this is it. Make sure your defense is impregnable today, got it? Surely. Today's trial. I'm gonna expose that guy from what he's done, or my name isn't Phoenix Wright.
Alright, Nick.
January 8th, 10 a.m. District Court. Courtroom number 4. Court is now in session for the trial of Maggie Bird. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The defense's assistant detective is ready, Your Honor. I'm ready and waiting as always, Your Honor. Very good. Then we'll get underway at once. Yesterday we heard the testimony of Mr. Victor Kudo. He claims to have witnessed the defendant putting a powder into the victim's coffee. However, the witness's testimony was plagued with a number of problems. The mark on the rim of the cup shows that the victim drank from it with his right hand. But according to the old man's testimony, he picked it up with his left hand. Thank you, Mr. Goto. Furthermore, according to the witness's account, the victim was listening to the radio with an earpiece in his left ear. Yet, the victim's left eardrum was ruptured, which made him effectively deaf in that ear.
It's amazing how many contradictions a single case can have, honey.
Ha! Allow me to enlighten you, Your Honor. The road, you see, keeps turning, and you must turn with it. Okay, and... don't let the mysteries of yesterday mystify you today. Only losers think like that. You got to change with the times. That's one of my rules. Are you implying that you've resolved these contradictions? You know the answers to these riddles? And the old guy wasn't just throwing seeding. He was throwing us off the scent. And today I'll prove it. Very well. Let the first witness take the stand. Alrighty then, John Armstrong. And you are?
Oh, bonjour everyone. Hi, I'm Jean Armstrong, the owner and the chef and the chef of the Caribbean restaurant. Enchanté.
Forgive me for asking, witness, but are you a woman?
Ooh la la, monsieur. As you can see, I am the perky gentleman now.
I don't want to hear the word perky out of you, sir. On the day of the incident, you were in Trebien's kitchen. Isn't that right?
With you, monsieur. Everything feels right.
Huh. Wow, he's totally unfazed.
Doesn't anything intimidate this guy?
Oh, you bet your ass that Gato is scared. On the inside. He is just like that. He doesn't let his fears out. Very well. Your testimony, please, witness. Please tell the court what happened that day at Trebien.
Oui, volontiers.
Alright, John Armstrong. Let's see what you have to say.
When it all happened, there were just 2 customers in my restaurant. I remember I was experimenting with some new art decos that day. Like having a large mirror between the tables, for example.
Large mirror?
Oui, perhaps that is what the old man was looking at. The cup, the earpiece and the glasses. He would have seen everything in reverse, no?
Eh? Reverse? Mirror?
Oui, un grand mirror. The most enormous mirror.
And so, the mystery disappears. Yeah, that's a lot of crock. Like I said, the road keeps turning, so roll with it. That would explain the coffee cup and the earpiece conundrum. The mirror would have made everything appear back to front. I see. And how come we didn't see any kind of mirror like that at Trebien when we were investigating? What the heck? It's way too early in the morning for this to be happening to me. Yeah. No then, Mr. Wright. You may begin your cross-examination. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the biggest liar of them all? Johnny!
When it all happened, there were just 2 customers in my restaurant.
And who were the 2 customers exactly?
Of course, the young man who died. And the other, not so young man.
You are referring to yesterday's witness, I presume. What about the other man Maggie says she saw at the table? Something tells me Mr. Armstrong isn't planning to disclose his existence.
We need some hot evidence first before we can bring him up, don't we?
Yeah. The goal of this cross-examination with John Armstrong is to make him speak up about this secret third person. You know. I guess I'll have to try a different approach for the time being.
I remember I was experimenting with some new art decos that day.
You experimenting with Art Deco? How come I never heard about that before today?
You are not familiar with the language of the interior design, monsieur?
Please stay on topic. Now, why didn't you tell the court about this before?
But I did, just a few moments ago.
I mean before, when we were talking to you at Trebien. Excuse me, Mr. Armstrong. This deco you mentioned, are you referring to some sort of decoction? Decoction? What the fuck is that, Judge? No, Art Deco, it is a style of design, Your Honor. Decoction. What the fuck is that? Might not have just searched this. I'm pretty curious. Decoction. No, not desucture. Decoction. Decoctor. A decoction. Yeah, great. That's a nice definition there. Wikipedia. The essence of liquor resulting from decoction. God damn it. Okay, well, what about decoction? My god. Decoction. A concentrated liquor resulting from a heating or boiling a substance, especially a medicinal preparation made from a plant. Well, I mean, if the judge knows about decoction, then how come he doesn't know about the Art Deco, or I've never heard of it before? What the fuck? He's talking about interior design. Walls, ceilings, carpets, that kind of thing. Ah, yes, of course. That deco.
I was trying to achieve a more effeminate look for my restaurant. I was planning the most bold remodeling of the deco. Like having a large mirror between the tables, for example.
How big of a mirror are we talking about here?
Both. Something about 4 meters wide and wait, about 2 meters high.
Both? The fuck are you doing? Are you howling like a dog? Are you barking like a dog? Let's see. 1 meter is about 1 yard. Holy glass of the frame, that's huge!
I was intending to install it on the ceiling eventually.
In the ceiling? Is there a mirror on the ceiling? I don't remember. I don't think that putting mirrors everywhere, like including on the partitions, the walls, and the ceiling would be great for a restaurant, to be quite honest. It would be quite surreal. This isn't a fun house.
Man, no. But I decided not to go through with it in the end.
Should I do? Should I ask him more about the mirror or not? Yeah, sure. If you really had such a large mirror in the restaurant, someone would have noticed it. But there's nothing about the mirror in Mr. Kudo or Meg Bird's testimonies. Wait, did we even have Maggie cross-examined till now? I don't think so. But, okay.
But...
Objection!
Hidden nest threat. You have only yourself to blame for such a sloppy work. Blech. Okay, I guess you're gonna give us that argument, eh? Well, the mirror was delivered to Trebien the day before the incident. Really? Okay, so I guess he's... Eh? As Mr. Armstrong testified, he was carrying out some design changes. And as it turns out, he didn't actually use the mirror in the end. And this just doesn't add up. Nah. I doubt that John Armstrong would think up ahead like that. Like, fake us like that. Well, like he bought some mirrors and then ended up not using specifically so that he used this sort of tactic in a trial. That's, I mean, either it's that or it's a complete coincidence that he can use that sort of argument to defend himself in trial, when in actuality it was just a random thing that he did before the incident. He decided to buy some mirrors and then decided not to, and he's using that as his scapegoat. Even if a mirror was delivered to Trevian, it doesn't prove that he was in the restaurant on the day of the crime. Yeah, that's true. Ha! If you want to doubt someone, right? Look in the mirror. I'm sure the person looking back at you will be dubious enough. Yeah. So the witnesses today had seen the victim reflected in a mirror.
Hey! Perhaps that is what the old man was looking at.
Normally, I'd expect people to know the difference between a reflection and a real object.
Objection!
Normally. How does normality come into this? Here in Japanifornia. Normality lost its definition a long time ago in this place. And that's lame, right? Even for you. Why don't you talk about it, motherfucker? Are you trying to say that if something isn't normal, it isn't possible? Is that it? Where does that leave the porky-headed lawyer and the top-notch chick over there? And don't even get me started on that Manuel Calavera wannabe there. Hey. And the ungodly cool guy with the mask over here. Well tried.
Ah!
What the hair?
I do not have a top knot. But man, he got you there, Nick. That includes you too, Noby.
Mr. Gato is correct. Lack of normality is no basis for discounting an argument. And Gato is pretty cool.
Yeah. Logic has won the day. The cup, the earpiece, and the glasses. You would have seen everything in reverse, no?
Everything. He would have seen everything in reverse.
Oui?
Nick, you should take a second to think about what old CD said in his testimony.
How did he phrase it again? The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. No question. You can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear, without a doubt. And then he used the same hand to pick up the cup. His left hand.
If you saw everything he described perfectly in a mirror, then everything he said he saw on the left was actually on the right, huh?
And that clears up all the problems with this testimony, I guess. Or does it? Huh. It's kinda hard to believe everything this... It's kinda hard to believe that everything's the fault of a mirror, but...
Maybe not CD saw everything through a reflection?
If it did, it would explain all the contradiction in his testimony. I mean, I doubt that. I mean, from where he was sitting, he must have looked at the victim, not the mirror. Unless he was on the other side of the partition, maybe. In which case, maybe it's one of those special mirrors where you can see people through the window. Like, where the victim was, but it's reversed? Is that what we're going with here?
But that just makes the situation worse for Maggie. There's gotta be something in that old man's testimony. We just gotta dig deeper.
Okay, well, we do know that Glen Elk had that earpiece with HMD. Now, hold on a second. Let me see. Like, let's think about it this way. Like, if there was a mirror and he was wearing it on the left side, then wouldn't it be reversed that way? Or like on the right? Like, I think that could be... Like, let me see. The victim got this from the doctor before going to Trebian. The bag is empty. Like, what does it say, like, under his profile? I think it said something about his ear. The victim was a programmer who wore an HMD over the left eye. Left eardrum was ruptured. Huh. Nah, you know what? I'm having my doubts about this. We do know that his left eardrum was ruptured. So, like I said before, if there was a mirror and if Mr. Kudo saw the HMD on the left, then if we are to account the mirror, then it would have been on the right side. I think you're contradicting yourself over here. You're screwing up your own testimony here.
Objection!
The coffee cup, the earpiece, and the HMD. Let's think back over Mr. Kudo's testimony for a second, shall we? The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. No question. He can look me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear, without a doubt. So, to summarize, we were told both the HMD and the earpiece were on the victim's left side. Now, if Mr. Kudo saw all that as a reflection in a mirror, it means both the HMD and the pierce were actually on the victim's right side.
Exactamente. You see, monsieur, now that you think about it, it is not so hard, no?
Unfortunately, that's where we run into a monumental contradiction with the facts. If Mr. Kudo really did see everything in a mirror, why is it that the HMD is now on the wrong side of his head? Order! Order! Mr. Wright is correct. If the witness genuinely observed the victim reflected in a mirror, then we would expect the victim's eyepiece to have been over his right eye. Boy, that surely must be creating some confusion for some people, I'm sure.
Objection!
How bitter. Try it. You should have taste of this bitterness. It'll calm you down in no time. Are we talking about your coffee or something completely different? You don't understand the way the witness thinks. How he thinks? You remember this, I presume. The I broke the vase, sorry apology, Mr. Kudo's sworn testimony.
Exactly.
The old man has one very grievous habit, other than throwing seeds. The more of an impression something makes, the more muddled his mind makes it. And what's the most striking thing about Mr. Elg? Clearly is the victim's eyepiece. And that's my point. And the old man strikes again. Oh, the old people with this state, I swear. Mr. Elg's HMD made a big impression on the old man. I saw the earpiece and those newfangled spectacles he was wearing. Oh yes, they were both on his left ear. Do you hear? His left ear! Ha! Well, try it. I'm not gonna lie, that was a good impression of the old man, Gato. That's the worst but best impression of Kudo ever.
Oh, I really thought he was old city for a minute there. That was good.
Enough! I must agree that yesterday's witness was responsibly rash in much of his testimony.
Bad luck, Nick. Looks like the boil of a contradiction you found is just a rash.
The mirror cannot be beaten by a handful of seeds, nor can it lie. So, what exactly was the old man looking at? Fill us in, Mr. Armstrong. Go on, tell the court. We're all ears. The unruptured ears.
Oui, I can explain. Please, if you look at the plans of the restaurant. Hello, is everyone sitting comfortably? The mirror, he was in the middle of the restaurant. dividing the two halves.
Oh, so that's where you meant. Okay, in which case, yeah, the positioning of Kudo would still stand. What would the confusion that you created be like before?
There is only one seat from which you could have seen an image of a victim.
Oh, okay, so I guess I was wrong about my theory of what the mirror does. You don't see through it. It reflects like a normal mirror, so yeah. He's saying that Kudo was basically sitting there, like beyond the partition. I'm having my doubts about that.
There was a seat at the table next to the victims. That was where the old man was sitting. After the terrible incident occurred, I moved the mirror so it was not in the way. Naturally, I did not touch anything else.
Huh, but the thing is though, how should we make the contradiction seen here? Like, we have to prove that Mr. Kudo wasn't sitting there, but where he initially was. With the photo over here, let me see. Trebien, floor plans. A photo of the scene taken from near the kitchen. Like, this was where Kudo was sitting. For sure, like near the kitchen, where he had clear visibility of Glen Elk. So we're definitely gonna have to prove that. I see no problems with the explanation we have just heard. From the table next to the victims, Mr. Kudo could have seen the victim in the mirror.
What another little coquette I am. Quizzing all the men like this.
Oh, don't worry about it. We can keep up. Except for the guy breaking out in a cold sweat up there again. With buckets around him. Lots and lots of buckets of sweat. Ugh, I hate that guy. You know, I cannot help it. I sweat a lot. It's not just my paws that are sweaty, my entire body is sweaty. He said he didn't touch anything else apart from the mirror. My shoes are all wet. Are you quite sure about that?
Volunteer? Of course.
Very well. He's right. You cross-examination, if you please.
Alrighty then, let's see how we're gonna tackle this one. The mirror. It was in the middle of the restaurant, dividing the two halves.
So, run this by me again. The mirror was here, correct?
We.
Really? Because I know if I were you, I wouldn't have put a mirror there. It would be in the way.
Objection!
Look who's talking, Trite. Huh? You're obstructing my view, among other things. Just like the mirror you're saying that is obstructing the way.
But this is my seat in the courtroom.
Trebien's charm is that it gives you the impression that you're the only customer. Temporarily placing a mirror in that spot would hardly be in the way. Unlike you, Trite.
I tell you, monsieur, the mirror is there. It's the middle of the restaurant. There is only one seat from which you could have seen an image of the victim. And where would that be? Oh la la! Look how you learned. Look how you lean towards me.
I don't think we really want to lean on you. Like, we have no motive to do so. So stop talking like that.
I always attract the younger boys. Maybe I should keep you in suspense a little longer.
No, I think that we're good. Just tell us. Mr. Armstrong, tell the court what you know at once.
I attract the older ones too, you know. Handsome. Shall I tease you too?
No. I'm already seeing a very hot someone, so I'm afraid you'll be waiting for a long time.
I bet she has a mocha cream skin and cappuccino perfume.
She.
Yeah, I'll tell you. There was only one seat from which you could have seen. There was La Cita at the table next to the victims. That was where the old man was sitting.
So why can you only see the victim from that particular seat?
My answer. It is obvious now. If you look at the plans, you will understand. The victim would have been reflected in a mirror like so. If you were sitting at the table next to him, you would have seen everything, no?
So that's the seat old city was sitting on that day, when the poisoning happened.
The old man was sitting at the table next to the victim? Why did that seem kinda odd? That's because it is! It is a lie!
After that terrible incident occurred, I moved the mirror and saw it was not in the way.
Did he move the mirror while Mr. Kudo was all calling the police?
Oui, exactamente. I carried it out of the restaurant then.
Wouldn't it be a pretty huge mirror though? You move a huge mirror like that all by yourself? Yeah, that's what I'm asking as well. You think that you would put it there and just let it there? Why would it be in the way of Kudo when you were calling the police? Why would you remove it like that, just for that?
What can I say? I know how to pick things up, handsome.
I don't know about that one.
Gotta actually laughed at something.
Well, why wouldn't he? He is laughing at Nick's failures. Oh, that actually makes sense. Well, given the witness's physique, I suppose it is possible. Did you remove anything else from the crime scene, Mr. Armstrong?
I look like the obliging type, no?
You still didn't answer my question.
It is pretty strange though, isn't it? I mean, nobody mentioned anything about a really large mirror. You would think someone would have. But Maggie didn't. And neither did Old City.
And then the only logical explanation is that there was no mirror in sight at the end that day. And I just got to prove it. Somehow. Yeah, let me see.
Are you sure about that? I touched nothing except the mirror.
Mr. Wright, is there something the witness has said that doesn't match the crime scene? Yeah, there is. I just gotta put my finger on what exactly. Ha! Suffering from a case of heartburn, right? Since the last time I gave you my coffee.
Oh, I just laughing for that. And now with golden mirror and Frankensteins.
Add a few drops to your coffee and voila. Enjoy it. Focus, Phoenix, focus. Breathe. I need to ignore those two bastards and just find some evidence. Okay. Well, these testimonies surely did not. These lines surely have not given me anything to work with. Like, let me see, is there like any evidence over here that tells us that he was sitting near the kitchen where the crime photo was taken, or actually, yeah, I think you screwed yourself a little bit. Thanks to Kudo's testimony yesterday, when it comes to a particular vase, that clearly shows us a contradiction in your testimony over here, John Armstrong. Now, let me see about where to hit though. the table next to the victims. Yeah, I think that you're lying, LeJarme Armstrong. What do you have to say about that?
Objection!
This piece of evidence contradicts with the testimony we have heard, Your Honor. The crime photo? Yes, this photo clearly shows something that theoretically should not exist. Yeah, a particular object that should be broken, and yet in this crime photo it isn't. What on earth do you mean by that, Mr. Wright? Should not exist. Sounds like you're describing yourself, right? Sheesh. Gato is surely going full throttle when it comes to these burns. Now then, if the defense will please clarify its statement. What is something that should not exist in this photo? Well, that something definitely has to be this particular face over here. If what Jean Armstrong is saying is true, I think it's pretty obvious that this is what should not be in this picture. The vase? What personal connection does that have with the witness's testimony? Your Honor, I'm telling you that there should have been no vase on this table. Because it very clearly contradicts with this piece of evidence. Yeah? The very piece of evidence that Kudo told us to use, / have it with us. I mean, you gave those away as well, Judge, like before we ended the trial yesterday. Victor's testimony that says that he broke the vase at his seat.
Take that!
There is one thing that was clearly demonstrated by yesterday's testimony. Mr. Kudo broke the vase that was on the table where he was sitting. And yet, as the court can see, there is an unbroken vase on the table next to the victim. Why? Because Mr. Kudo was not, in fact, sitting at a table next to the victim at all.
Objection!
Don't be an idiot, Wright. That's impossible. Is it? I mean, you gave us that crime photo yesterday. Gato, are you telling us that it's impossible? That we are lying about that? That is the only one Kudo could have seen the victim's reflection from. Exactly. There's only one conclusion we can draw from this contradiction. There was no mirror in Trebient that day. Your testimony, Mr. Armstrong, is an elaborate lie. Mon Dieu!
Objection!
Don't try to confuse the court, right? Obviously, the witness cleaned up the vase. While the police were taking their time getting to the crime scene.
Objection!
Unfortunately, Mr. Gato, that doesn't quite work for me. Mr. Armstrong already testified to the contrary, in his own words. I did not touch anything else, except the mirror. Now, that's strike 2, John Armstrong. You fucked yourself once again. Oh, there he goes. Well, Modest, what do you have to say for yourself? I was right. There was no mirror in the restaurant that day. In light of this revelation, we return back to the original problem. Why did the victim have an earpiece in an ear which he couldn't hear? Ha! You only get one shot in life. There's no turning back. If you want to claim that the mirror wasn't there, try it. Then this problem is all yours. How do you explain what the old man saw? If I can answer this, I'll be that much closer to the truth. I can feel it.
Are you going to be okay? Can we solve this contradiction, Nick?
You bet. And there's more than just this one contradiction, Maya.
What do you mean?
Remember what Maggie told us? There was another man at the victim's table. And there was a sample CD on the victim's table. It all flies in the face of Mr. Kudo's testimony. And I think I know the reason why nothing in this case is adding up. Oh, Mr. Wright, let's hear your answer.